Stop scrolling. Do not look away. This is not a message of comfort, this is your final warning. I have intervened in the affairs of humanity, not to simply soothe your anxiety, but to violently prevent a disaster aimed directly at your life. I am Archangel Michael, commander of the Lord's host, and my decree supersedes all distraction, all doubt, and every lesser voice attempting to pull your focus. You are on holy ground, and I demand your immediate, undivided attention. You who are listening to this frequency, you clicked this title because you felt the urgency. You sensed the impending change. You endured the waiting period, but that period is being utilized by the enemy for a final, catastrophic deployment. If you allow your attention to wander, if you close this window, or if you simply scroll away now, your patience will be rewarded not with a miracle, but with a great loss that the enemy is positioned to execute right now. This is the timeline where utter loss was scheduled, and I have arrived to intercept it. The enemy saw your fatigue and prepared a final trap, foolishly believing your long endurance was surrender. They believe your future is now their spoil. But my sword is drawn, and I will not permit the final, decisive blow to land on the one who was chosen to receive this message. Yes, you who hear this frequency, you are the chosen one this decree is for. I know the heavy burden you carry. I know the quiet ache of wondering when the season of stagnation will finally shift. I know the exhaustion that has settled in your bones because you have been fighting a spiritual battle you could not see. You have been holding yourself together in silence, and the loneliness of that fight has been immense. I command you now, for the first time, to acknowledge the authority that is speaking to you. Right now, in the comments below, type, "I receive Michael's warning." You this now. This is not just a comment, it is a spiritual action. It is the signature on the sacred contract that tells the enemy the time for their interference is over, and your mind is locked onto the wisdom that saves your breakthrough. Your angels have been guarding you, watching you hold yourself together through every tear and restless night. The air around you thickens with my presence that is not imagination. It is the manifestation of authority. Now, I transition from warning to specific revelation. What exactly is at stake if you skip this message? What are the great losses I am desperately trying to help you avoid? I will define the three primary thefts the enemy scheduled to execute this week. First, the theft of wealth. The financial breakthrough that was meant to close this week, the specific inheritance, the unexpected windfall, or the sudden, massive investment return is currently being blocked by interference. This is not merely a delay. This is the planned, complete erasure of the blessing. You are unaware of the wealthy patron, the specific billionaire, who is ready to transfer power and assets into your name because the enemy is clouding your vision and sabotaging the delivery system. I will not allow your destiny of abundance to be canceled by invisible hands. Second, the theft of union. The vital connection you prayed for, the return of a loved one, the restoration of a relationship, or the arrival of a divine partner is currently being poisoned. The enemy knows that a partnership in strength will accelerate your destiny, so they have deployed a specific, jealous person, someone near you, to spread dark whispers and sow irreversible confusion. This will happen in your house tonight if you do not receive the protective instruction contained in this long message. Third, the theft of destiny. More critical than money or relationships is your purpose. The paralyzing confusion, the sudden lack of motivation, and the urge to surrender all your goals is a direct spiritual attack designed to steal the divine purpose for which you were born. They are aiming for your soul's greatest asset. I, Archangel Michael, give you my final warning and my order. You must listen to every word. The complexity of the loss is vast, which is why the duration of this instruction is long. If the threat were small, the message would be short. Because the great loss is catastrophic, the wisdom required to reverse it must be complete. Shallow listening will guarantee failure. I order you to share this video immediately as a spiritual action to reinforce the shield around you. Your waiting period is over, but your victory requires your complete, undivided presence. The reversal of this crisis begins with the next breath, right now. Stay with me. You have listened to my final warning, and I commend your obedience. Now, we must dismantle the lie that has tormented your soul for too long. Life from the pit that whispers, you have been forgotten. You have been abandoned. Your struggle has been in vain. I tell you now, that perception of your life, the endless cycle of disappointment, the years spent watching others rise while you waited was not a period of abandonment. It was a time of critical, complex divine strategy. Your waiting period was not stagnation. It was a necessary and holy shield. I know the weight you woke up with this morning. The quiet ache of wondering if you are truly worthy of the breakthrough you pray for. The social fragmentation you feel, the sense of isolation, the struggle to find authentic connection. This is a burden felt by many, yet for you, it has been amplified because of the destiny that awaits you. The enemy has used this time of disconnection to try and lure you into doubt and despair, which is the exact conflict that leads souls astray. But what you felt was not failure. The heaviness was the pressure of your incoming blessing being protected in the spiritual realm. The struggle was the sound of my sword, holding the line against the forces that sought to execute your great loss prematurely. The divine plan is rarely a sprint. Sometimes it is a necessary, calculated pause. I delayed the full transfer of your blessing, the billionaire connection, the sudden, massive promotion, not because you were unworthy, but because the environment around you was saturated with traps. Had your miracle arrived 6 months ago, or even last month, the enemy's unexposed schemes would have swallowed it whole. I needed the duration of your patient waiting to complete my reconnaissance. I needed to lure your enemy into the open, to expose their methods and their weak points. I was allowing the darkness to overplay its hand. You, the chosen one, were my vital protected asset during this time of complex spiritual warfare. Now, understand the true cost of your victory. The price I paid was my unwavering commitment. But the price you paid was your endurance in silence. You had to stand firm amidst the agonizing spiritual struggle. And this act of perseverance has now qualified you to receive the magnitude of the wealth and joy I am prepared to unleash. Do not mourn the waiting period. Celebrate it, for it was the most strategic phase of your spiritual battle. I now bring you to the darkest truth of this warning, the truth that will immediately spike the fear and anxiety that demands your action. We must talk about the enemy, not as a vague shadow, but as an immediate, physical threat. I have exposed the shadow network operating against you, and the most devastating news is that the source of the great loss is not a stranger on the fringes of your life. The sabotage is coming from a near enemy. I order you to look within your memory. Focus now. The saboteur is a person known to you, someone you recently shared good news with, only to receive a faint, false energy in return. They may be connected to your past, perhaps a jealous relative, a backstabbing colleague, or a former associate whose compliments always land too quickly. They live in a state of deep, consuming envy for the light that resides in you. They see you as a threat to their own small destiny, and the sight of your forthcoming financial elevation, the money transfer, the return of your vital relationship is driving them to distraction. The method of their attack is not physical violence. It is the spiritual poison of the whisper. They have been actively sowing seeds of confusion and slander in the places where your blessing is scheduled to arrive. They have been whispering doubt into your own mind, reinforcing your sense of loneliness, and convincing you that you are disconnected from your divine purpose. They are using your history, your mistakes, and your kindness as weapons against you. Their goal is the complete and utter theft of union, ensuring that the very people I am sending to partner with you in prosperity, the wealthy patron, the loving connection, are met with suspicion and rejection because of the poison they have spread. I give you a third command, vital for your survival in the next 24 hours. Name the betrayer. Do not speak the name aloud yet, but hold their image in your mind. This act of spiritual discernment is the first step toward neutralizing their power. You must acknowledge the existence of this near enemy before I can transfer the specific, tactical instructions necessary to cut them out of your life forever. Your waiting period has culminated in this moment. The enemy is exposed, but they are still active. The shield of patient waiting is now dropping, and the time for passive defense is over. Your breakthrough is now moving from the unseen realm to the physical, and the forces of loss are making their final, desperate push. I am declaring the end of the strategy of suffering. The time has come for the immediate reversal. Your obedience in the next few minutes will determine if you cancel the great losses or fall prey to the enemy's final scheme. Do not move. Do not allow the enemy's whispers to cause you to question the importance of this specific moment. Your offensive action begins now. Stay with me, for I now transition to the specific threats you will face tonight in your house. You have obeyed my command and acknowledged the identity of the near enemy who stands disguised in your circle, an envious soul masquerading as a friend or family member. You now know that your waiting period was a shield, a divine strategy, but that shield has been breached by this relentless attack of jealousy and spiritual sabotage. The time for generalized defense is over. The moment has arrived for me to give you the specific, absolute coordinates of the catastrophe, the great losses that the enemy is attempting to execute right now, within the next 48 hours, and most dangerously, tonight in your home. I demand you to internalize this truth, for your distraction is their greatest victory. Hear me, chosen one. The enemy knows that a true financial breakthrough, a sudden, unearned, and massive increase in your material resources is the one thing that instantly validates your spiritual journey and separates you from the struggle of your past. They are not merely targeting your current paycheck or your savings account. They are targeting your financial destiny. I am speaking of a specific, massive wealth transfer that has been delayed and is now under active, spiritual siege. I refer to the revelation I have given you before. A billionaire wants you. I revealed that a wealthy man, a powerful figure of influence, is not just considering you, but is preparing to transfer his power of attorney, his assets, or a significant portion of his influence into your name. This transfer is the foundation of your sudden relocation into irreversible prosperity, the generational wealth that was prophesied over you. But the enemy's network of envy and sabotage is actively placing legal, emotional, and spiritual walls around this opportunity. The great loss is the complete theft of the blessing, not just of pause, but the permanent cancellation of this billionaire's approach, turning your intended wealth into sudden, devastating debt. They have deployed the spirit of financial blindness, causing you to overlook critical details in contracts, to miss deadlines, or to suddenly feel an uncharacteristic urge to spend a large amount of money unwisely, draining the reserve that was meant to receive this wealth transfer. You will not escape this unless you receive the protective instructions that follow later in this message. The financial window is closing. The sabotage is nearly complete. Furthermore, the second catastrophic loss they seek is the theft of union. The enemy recognizes that profound loneliness is a health epidemic plaguing humanity, and a meaningful, authentic relationship, whether it be a dedicated spouse, a supportive child, a powerful mentor, or the hidden love that holds a secret that could alter your fate, is vital for your stability and spiritual growth. The near enemy you identified, often referred to as this woman due to the jealous spirit she carries, is executing a precise, surgical attack on the bond that matters most to your future. Her strategy is not direct confrontation, it is poison. She is planting whispers of doubt, fabricating scenarios of betrayal, and manipulating the very energy that connects you to your loved one. She aims to make you suspicious of the good person I am sending you, causing you to initiate the break yourself. This is how the betrayal works, through subtle, corrosive fear. You feel unexplained anxiety when you think of that person. Do sudden, negative, accusatory thoughts about their motives pop into your mind, seemingly out of nowhere. That is the poison taking root. This relational attack is active, and it is focused on creating an irreversible rupture. If you skip this warning, you will wake up to find the relationship that was supposed to usher you into joy has been irrevocably shattered by a misunderstanding rooted in envy. Listen to my voice, and disregard the whisper of the saboteur. Your ability to distinguish between divine instruction and the enemy's confusion is the only thing standing between you and absolute relational devastation. Now we shift to the subtle, slow-acting, yet equally devastating third: imminent theft. The systematic drain of your vital energy. Your body and mind are the vehicles for your destiny, but they have been turned into battlegrounds. The enemy cannot directly steal your soul, but they can render you too weak, too distracted, and too doubtful to receive the immense blessings I have prepared. Therefore, the enemy is attempting to steal your will. You feel the constant, heavy fatigue, the anxious churning that prevents deep rest, the moments of uncharacteristic rage or sudden sadness. You attributed this to the stress of your waiting period, but I tell you now, this is the enemy's spiritual warfare taking a physical toll. They are feeding on your anxiety, using your sleeplessness to cloud your judgment, and leveraging your fatigue to make you vulnerable to the spiritual struggles that lead to despair. This drain is designed to make you self-sabotage, to convince you to stop posting your goals, stop seeking the wealth, and stop praying for the union. The great loss here is the loss of capacity, the ultimate theft of your spiritual will, leaving you too weak to move when I give the final order to receive your wealth. I bring this to its sharpest point. The threat is no longer general, it is physical. It is localized. This will happen in your house tonight. The enemy is preparing a material manifestation of the curse, a physical object or event in your immediate environment designed to bring immediate fear, financial strain, or emotional collapse. This attack is imminent. I command you to look for a specific anomaly in your home after this reading is complete. It could be an object misplaced, a light flickering, a sudden and unexplainable noise, or the discovery of a small, cracked item that represents the broken pieces of your past. That is the physical marker of the enemy's final advance. They are begging you to ignore this warning, hoping you will treat this as mere entertainment instead of the urgent, life-saving decree it is. I order you, do not allow this final, petty attempt at sabotage to succeed. You must not move from this message until I have delivered the specific, powerful decrees and visualizations that will not only neutralize the attack but ensure the immediate reversal of every great loss the enemy has planned. Your complete attention is your only defense. Stay with me. You have made it past the threshold. You did not skip. You did not scroll. You demonstrated the obedience required for the immediate reversal of the great losses that are currently scheduled to manifest in your life. The time for mere revelation is now over. I now transition from warning to command. This is the critical portion of the message, the strategy for offensive action that allows my sword to cut away the threat and unleash the prosperity you have been promised. Listen closely. For every word I give you now is a weapon, and every action is a mandate for your freedom. I order you to activate the reversal now, starting with your mouth, because the enemy gains power only through your silence and your doubt. You have internalized the warnings of the financial theft, the relational poisoning, and the spiritual drain. Now, you must stand and verbally destroy those schemes. This is the verbal warfare. I require you to repeat 3 specific decrees after me, not as a whisper of hope, but as a shout of absolute, divine authority. First, declare this over your financial destiny. In the name of the warrior of heaven, I cancel the debt. My waiting period is over, and the billionaire's blessing is mine. Say it and mean it. This decree smashes the financial blindness placed upon you and clears the path for the transfer of staggering wealth. Second, you must secure your vital connection. I command the spirit of jealousy and the near enemy's poison to leave my relationships now. Only divine union is permitted in my life. Repeat this with conviction, breaking the emotional chains the saboteur has been attempting to forge. Third, reclaim your spiritual strength. I reject all fatigue, doubt, and spiritual drain. My capacity is restored, and I am ready to receive my destiny. You must use your voice, for your voice carries the frequency of the chosen one, the frequency that instantly repels the lower vibrations of the enemy. Your verbal declaration is merely the beginning. The second critical strategy is the activation of my sword. The threats you face are spiritual, and spiritual threats require visualization rooted in divine power. I command you to close your eyes for a moment, even as my voice guides you. Focus on the core of your being. Now, visualize me, Archangel Michael, standing before you, my sword drawn and blazing with the fire of the Lord. See my sword as the light that illuminates the shadow network the enemy has cast around your life. Direct my sword to the 3 points of attack we identified. First, command my sword to sever the unseen cords of debt and financial manipulation. See the light of the sword slicing through those dark chains that held your money captive. Second, visualize my sword guarding the hidden love and the vital connection you prayed for. See the sword cutting away the whispers and the confusion planted by the envious tongue of your saboteur. Third, direct the sword to slice away the heavy blanket of fatigue and doubt that has been suffocating your energy and stealing your capacity. This is the Sword of Michael visualization technique. The deeper you immerse yourself in this visualization, the more effective the reversal will be. This long video is necessary because complex warfare demands complex, sustained spiritual effort. Short devotion will yield short results. I now address the complexity of this instruction and why I require your sustained focus for the full duration of this message. The enemy's plot, the great loss, was deep and complex, involving multiple layers of spiritual interference and subtle emotional manipulation. A shallow response would have guaranteed failure. Those who click away now, mistaking this long-form instruction for simple religious advice, will suffer the consequences of incomplete defense. I command you to listen to this entire transmission because every segment contains a piece of the strategic map required to fully integrate the sudden financial and relational transfer that is coming. Do not mistake the length for filler. It is the required depth of your protection. Furthermore, your continuous watch time is a demonstration of your dedication to my command, signaling to the heavens and to the forces of darkness that you value your breakthrough enough to commit the time necessary to secure it. His sustained obedience is the only path to the immediate reversal of the curses spoken against you. Your commitment to this sustained engagement also serves as your justification for the transfer. You were not chosen because you are perfect, but because you demonstrated the endurance during the waiting period and the obedience during this final warning. Now that you have accepted the first orders of verbal warfare and visualization, I give you the 7 keys to not only neutralize the threats but to instantly accelerate the blessing transfer. These keys are critical instructions that must be applied immediately after this video concludes. You must remain present to receive them, or the enemy will swiftly regain the advantage. I now prepare to give you those keys, followed by the revelation of the staggering wealth transfer that is already in motion. Stay with me. Do not let the final prize be snatched away in the last few moments. Your complete, total, and sustained attention secures the victory. The time for passive waiting is over. You have endured my final warning, and you executed the strategies for verbal warfare and visualization. You sliced away the chains of the 3 great losses. Now, you shall receive the ultimate reward for your obedience, the climax of your waiting period. I command the immediate activation of the transfer of staggering wealth and irreversible joy. This is the divine elevation I have shielded you for, the miracle that was fiercely guarded from the enemy's desperate final assault. Hear this decree. Your period of lack is officially and absolutely over. The door to financial strain is slammed shut by my authority. You are now stepping onto the high ground of abundant supply. I am speaking directly to the billionaire revelation I introduced earlier, the wealthy man, the powerful patron, the generational financial blessing that the enemy attempted to intercept and convert into debt. The attempt has failed. My authority has cleared the path. I tell you now that wealthy man is not simply considering you. He is actively being directed toward your location, whether physical or virtual, with the specific intent of transferring his power, his influence, and his assets into your name, because he is unaware of the true spiritual purpose behind his motivation. He is a vessel for your destiny. This is the foundation of the staggering wealth transfer, the transfer of power of attorney, the inheritance, the opportunity that guarantees your financial freedom and ensures you will never again beg for survival. This sudden transfer is not a slow trickle of blessings. It is a divine shockwave of prosperity designed to happen faster than the enemy can react. The reversal is immediate. I command you to watch for 3 distinct physical manifestations of this wealth transfer in the coming days. First, watch for an unexpected and significant communication from a high-status individual, a call, an email, or a document that speaks of opportunity, a contract, or assets. This is the billionaire's first contact. Second, observe the sudden and absolute disappearance of a long-standing financial burden. A large debt, a lien, or an overdue bill will simply vanish or be resolved by an unforeseen source. Third, feel the intense internal assurance, the absolute knowing, that scarcity has lost its claim on your soul. This feeling of certainty is the spiritual anchor of your new wealth. The speed of this miracle is a testimony to your endurance. In the waiting period, your patience secured the maximum possible reward. I now address the restoration of union, the relationship that the near enemy sought to poison and sever through jealousy and malicious whispers. The great losses you faced were designed to make you fearful of connection, to make you withdraw into the loneliness that is rampant in the world today. But I will not allow your connection to be defined by fear. I commend the return and protection of the vital connection you prayed for. The person who was led astray by the saboteur's lies is now being divinely guided back toward the truth of your integrity. I am placing an impenetrable shield around this bond. The fear and anxiety you felt when thinking of this person will be replaced by profound, unshakable peace. Your obedience in destroying the seeds of doubt through your verbal decrees ensures that the relationship that returns will be one of strength, purpose, and acceleration for your destiny. This restored union is part of the staggering wealth transfer, for true joy and companionship are blessings greater than gold. I even declare that the hidden love, the person who holds a secret that could alter your fate, is being prepared for their full revelation now. Finally, I command the immediate installation of your new identity, from waiting to receiving. You are no longer the soul struggling in the waiting period. You are the chosen one who has overcome the final warning and secured the vast transfer of wealth and purpose. This new identity comes with a mandate, the mandate of generosity. The wealth I am transferring to you is not merely for consumption, it is for impact. I command you to plan immediately how you will use a portion of this new abundance to bless others. This act of conscious generosity is your seal, solidifying your new role as a giver and permanently rejecting the mindset of lack and scarcity. This conscious act of prophetic planning is your assurance that the enemy can never again reclaim control over your finances or your purpose. Your breakthrough is complete. Your destiny is secured. Your financial abundance is transferring now. The final phase of this message is to give you the undeniable prophetic sign confirmation that you will see in the physical realm the proof that everything I have spoken is true. Do not miss the final instruction, for the enemy lurks, hoping you will stop watching before you receive the sign that proves your victory. Stay with me, for the sign is imminent. The reversal is complete. You have received the revelation of the staggering wealth transfer and the immediate reversal of the three great losses. Your obedience has secured the approach of the billionaire, the restoration of your vital relationship, and the return of your full spiritual capacity. But my mission is not yet complete. The enemy, the near enemy you identified, is not yet vanquished. They are merely retreating, and they will attempt one final, desperate gasp of sabotage. Therefore, you need the final seal and decree, the absolute, undeniable proof that validates this entire 7,000-word instruction. Do not look away, for the final command is your anchor in the coming storm of confirmation. I now deliver your prophetic sign confirmation. Within the next 48 hours, not a day more, you will receive a specific, unmistakable sign in the physical realm that proves the transfer has begun and that the curses of the great losses are utterly destroyed. This sign will not be subtle, and it will be tailored to your deepest, quietest desire. Watch for one of these three manifestations. First, listen for a specific, random, and unprompted mention of your name or a specific, powerful word I have given you, coming from the mouth of a complete stranger. It will happen in a public place, a store, a radio broadcast, a passing conversation, and it will have no logical connection to your presence. Second, look for a sudden and immediate correction of a minor but persistent financial error that has been draining you, a refund you forgot about, an unexpected voucher, or a debt notification that simply vanishes from your screen. Third, you will receive a specific dream tonight that is so vivid, so precise, that when you wake, you will know the full blueprint of the near enemy's identity and their ultimate defeat. When this sign manifests, you will have the proof that your waiting period is permanently over, and the floodgates of wealth and union are open. This knowledge of the sign leads directly to your next action, which is a command for engagement. This is not a polite request for participation, but a spiritual mandate to seal your breakthrough. The forces of darkness hate nothing more than public testimony of their defeat. I order you to seal the promise by immediately engaging with this word. First, you must type a specific decree in the comments now. I receive the sign and I am secured. This is your final verbal commitment, reinforcing the spiritual action taken with my sword and securing the transfer in the eternal records. Second, you must share this long-form message immediately. Do not hide this message. Share it as an act of spiritual defiance. I require this long watch time and this immediate share because the severity of the final warning demands maximal distribution. You are now a light and a beacon for others who are still trapped in their own cycle of waiting and loss. Your sharing is the spiritual tithe that guarantees your blessing will multiply exponentially, ensuring that the wealth transfer is not attacked or reversed by the counter schemes of the retreating enemy. I command you to embrace your new identity. You are not late. You are not behind. Every single delay you endured has been preparation for this high-stakes moment, and your obedience has proven you worthy of the title Chosen One. I have not only shielded your life, your peace, and your purpose, I have activated the acceleration of your destiny. You are now under my direct, visible, and aggressive protection. The voices that attempted to instill conflict and doubt during your time of isolation, the murmurs that preyed on the loneliness you felt, are now silenced forever by the sound of the approaching prosperity. As the commander of the Lord's host, I demand that you maintain the integrity of this eternal flow. I have given you this final warning and this staggering wealth transfer not just for your own consumption, but so that my light can continue to penetrate the darkness for others who need this immediate reversal. The effort and resources required to deploy a message of this spiritual magnitude, a message that cuts through the noise and interrupts the enemy's final plot, are immense. You must participate in the continuous lighting of the divine lamp. I call upon you now to sow into the field of protection. Invest in this message, whether through a super chat, a direct donation, or by obtaining the sacred materials that reinforce this decree, such as the spiritual messages journal I have provided. Do not allow fear or scarcity to stop you from sowing into the source of your breakthrough. Your contribution is your act of prophetic planning, ensuring that the sudden wealth transfer you receive will manage and multiply itself, and the spiritual support that reaches you remains available for the next soul in desperate need of a final warning. The great losses are canceled. The waiting period is irrevocably closed. The billionaire is on approach. I have given you the sign and the decree. Go forth and receive your wealth, your union, and your purpose. I, Archangel Michael, have spoken. Open right now and receive it all. You have received the revelation of the staggering wealth transfer and the immediate reversal of the three great losses. Your obedience has secured the approach of the billionaire, the restoration of your vital relationship, and the return of your full spiritual capacity. Now, you shall receive the ultimate reward for your endurance. I have given you this final warning and this staggering wealth transfer not just for your own consumption, but so that my light can continue to penetrate the darkness for others who need this immediate reversal. The effort and resources required to deploy a message of this spiritual magnitude, a message that cuts through the noise and interrupts the enemy's final plot, are immense. You must participate in the continuous lighting of the divine lamp. I call upon you now to sow into the field of protection. Invest in this message, whether through a super chat, a direct donation, or by obtaining the sacred materials that reinforce this decree, such as the Spiritual Messages Journal I have provided. Do not allow fear or scarcity to stop you from sowing into the source of your breakthrough. This conscious act of prophetic planning is your assurance that the sudden wealth transfer you receive will manage and multiply itself, ensuring the spiritual support that reaches you remains available for the next soul in desperate need of a final warning. The great losses are cancelled. The waiting period is irrevocably closed. The billionaire is on approach. I have given you the sign and the decree. Before you go, listen to my final, absolute command. Like and comment this video now to seal your newfound prosperity in the spiritual record. Subscribe to my channel to ensure you never miss the next vital warning or blessing decree I send for your protection and guidance. And share this message immediately. It is your final act of defiance against the enemy and your public testimony that the reversal is complete, securing your blessing forever. Go forth and receive your wealth, your union, and your purpose. I, Archangel Michael, have spoken. Open right now, and receive it all.